On a morning like any other, tensions in the View studio reached boiling point. In less than 15 minutes, Republican Senator Mark Caldwell would corner Sunny Hostin live on air, leaving her speechless and in tears. This is the explosive confrontation, the moment Sunny lost it. It was early in the morning. The atmosphere inside the View studio was unusually tense. The lights were on, the cameras positioned for rehearsal, and the gleaming coffee mug sat neatly on the table. Everyone could feel the weight in the air because that day's guest was none other than Senator Mark Caldwell, one of the most talked about and hard-hitting Republican figures in Washington. He was famous for his fiery conservative stances, sharp wit, and a reputation for cornering his opponents in debates. Backstage, the show's producer was giving last-minute instructions. Sunny Hostin took a deep breath. Normally, she was used to political sparring. She had faced tough guests before, but Caldwell was different. His aggressive stance toward the media and ability to dismantle arguments with precision made him a formidable opponent. The press and the audience were both buzzing with anticipation for this episode. When the show began, everything seemed normal. Whoopi Goldberg opened the program, the audience clapped, and the co-hosts, Joy Behar, Alyssa Farah-Griffin, Sunny Hostin, and Sarah Haynes took their places. Caldwell walked confidently onto the set, adjusted his tie, and sat at the table. Whoopi started gently. Senator Caldwell, it's great to have you here today. Let's start with the latest developments in Washington. But barely 2 minutes into the conversation, Sunny interrupted. Senator, you do realize your policies have negatively impacted millions of Americans, don't you? Caldwell didn't hesitate for even a second. Sunny, that's interesting to hear, because from my perspective, our policies have strengthened the economy. The real issue is the media, people like you twisting the truth. The studio reacted with a faint murmur. Cameras cut to Sunny, whose tense expression was now visible to millions watching live. As the debate progressed, Caldwell methodically dismantled Sunny's talking points. He spoke with data, cited figures, and even brought up some of Sunny's past statements. At one point, the production team flashed a clip from a year-old interview of hers on the screen. Sunny, from past interview. These kinds of budget cuts will never happen. Caldwell seized the moment, and here we are. They happened, and the country began to recover because of them. Will you admit you were wrong? Sunny felt herself cornered. Her hands gripped her coffee mug tightly as she took a deep breath. Senator, you're taking my words out of context. That statement was made under different circumstances. But Caldwell wasn't letting go of the spotlight. No, Sunny, this isn't about context. This was a bad prediction. Why is it so hard for you to just admit it? As the minutes went by, Sunny's voice began to tremble. By the 15-minute mark, when Caldwell shifted the topic to immigration policy, things completely unraveled. Sunny, you've consistently downplayed the importance of border security, yet when I speak to the men and women on the ground, they tell me your rhetoric makes their jobs harder. Sunny's eyes glistened. It was one of the toughest moments a person could face, being emotionally cornered in front of a live audience of millions. The camera zoomed in on her trembling lips, her fingers clasped tightly on the table. I would never want to jeopardize anyone's safety, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Caldwell delivered the final blow. Then perhaps you should reconsider the consequences of your words. The audience reacted with a mix of applause and shouts of "let her speak." When the show cut to a commercial break, Sunny immediately left for backstage. Assistants rushed to comfort her, but she couldn't hold back the tears. He humiliated me, she kept saying. Joy Behar came over, putting a hand on her shoulder. Sunny, you're fantastic. This is just his tactic. Meanwhile, Caldwell sat calmly at the table, sipping water and reviewing his notes as if nothing had happened. When they returned from the break, Whoopi tried to cool the atmosphere. All right, this is a place for ideas to be exchanged. No need for personal attacks. Caldwell gave a faint smile. I'm simply stating the facts. Sunny chose not to respond. She kept her head slightly bowed and only gave short remarks for the rest of the program. Once the episode ended, social media exploded. The hashtags, Sunny breaks down, and Caldwell on The View trended worldwide. Some praised Caldwell as a brave politician speaking truth to power, while others condemned him as a man who cornered and belittled a woman on live television. The next morning, news outlets ran the story as a headline. Columnists called it one of the most unforgettable moments in The View's history. Sunny posted a long message on Instagram. What happened yesterday deeply affected me, but shedding tears in a debate is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of humanity. Messages of support poured in by the thousands. Caldwell, however, posted something entirely different on his own account. The truth can hurt, but I will never stop speaking it for the good of our country. And thus, that episode of The View became an instant classic, both politically and emotionally, etched into live television history. In the end, the clash between Sunny Hostin and Senator Caldwell wasn't just a heated exchange. It was a defining moment on live television. Whether you see it as a victory for truth or a harsh ambush, one thing is certain: it left millions talking. What's your take? Was Sunny unfairly cornered, or did Caldwell simply hold her accountable? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intense political showdowns.